So, the other day I found an amazing deal in a charity shop. It was a beginner violin and a bow and the case behind me, just by the dog, there we go. And also came with some rosin and a tuner as well, all for £30. Not bad at all. I am a cellist, so I know how to play string instruments, and a guitarist, but that's a little less relevant for the violin. But anyway, I thought I've only really tried violin a tiny little bit when my friends have, given me a go. So I thought I'd give it a go and see if I could learn a bit of violin. And yeah, it is super different from the cello. Cello, I think, is a lot easier in terms of vibrato and just holding it there. This feels very odd, putting it under the chin. And I don't know how people... I haven't got a rest, of course, on the back, but it's still super uncomfortable. I can't just hold it there easily. That pulls down way too much. For the moment, though, I've just been using a hoodie, putting it down there. Looks a bit stupid, but it works, and it keeps my collarbone from feeling like it hurts a ridiculous amount. So that's good. Yeah, it's tuned in fourth, so it's the same as a cello, but the tuning's a little bit different. It's got a high E string rather than finishing on the A. But anyway, it feels kind of the same but different, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it's bizarre because you're supposed to let gravity do all the work, but in some ways it feels a lot harder because your fingers have to wrap around the top here. I don't know where my thumb's meant to be. At the minute, I've got my thumb sort of going halfway up about to there. I don't know if that's right, but that's where I've got it at the moment, because that would allow me to... bit out of tune, but you know what I mean. Allows me to move up positions a little bit easier. But yeah, so I've just been messing around with it and seeing what I can play. So it all feels really odd to play. I think it's most obvious in my tuning issues with the left hand and my bowing in the right hand. That's going all over the place. I've tried to do the concerto that everyone starts with. I can't remember its name, but it's this one. Yeah, see, there goes my bowing hand already. That goes way towards the bridge way too quickly. And being a violin, it seems to cut off a lot easier. Maybe it's just because it's a beginner violin, I don't know. But it feels totally different. The other thing I can't seem to do is get really good vibrato. Vibrato, super easy on a cello. You just wiggle up and down and let gravity do the work. But violin, I don't know if I'm meant to be doing it like that. Like full wrist. I don't know. So any pointers on that would be really good. There we go. Bridge again. There seems to be my issue. So I don't know if I'm holding it too high. There. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Ah. There we go, did it again. And again. Ah. And yeah, it just feels a little bit different to the cello. I could probably play it a lot easier like a cello. a lot easier like a cello. I don't know why violinists don't just play it like this and maybe have a little stand. Anyway, I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I just thought I'd show my progress, because you get a lot of beginner videos showing their progress, but you don't get a lot from people who have already played string instruments trying out a different string instrument. So there we go. Anyway, this was a bit different to my usual videos, completely different style as well. Just thought I'd get the violin out and see how it goes, you know? I was going to make a video on Samsung decks actually, and how I think that's a fantastic feature, but you know what, if you know, you know. It's the sort of video that I'm not sure has to be made again. Maybe I will at some point, I don't know. But at that point I was sort of feeling like I was just making a video about Samsung decks for the sake of making a video about Samsung decks, not because I actually use it on a regular basis. Maybe if it had better app support I would use it, but as it happens I really don't. I think it has a long way to go before it actually becomes usable for anyone, either in a professional field or even just as a private, you know, home computer. Some people it would be absolutely fine, that's all they need. But for a lot of people who need either, you know, extra creative apps like either video or a better photo editing experience, and just better mouse and keyboard support on Android would go a long ways. Yeah, it sort of didn't seem worthwhile to make another video covering Samsung decks on, especially considering it hasn't really changed in about 7 years since it was launched. I can't remember exactly when that was, but I think it was around 2017, 2018 with the Samsung Galaxy S8, I believe it was. So yeah, anyway, I thought I'd give you some violin shenanigans instead. Enjoy. Ugh. Let's get that in tune. No, that was more major. Let's go minor. That's a little better. Yeah, still a bit out of tune. Shh. So yeah, any tips for a hopeless beginner? I know a lot of the theory stuff from playing cello for over 20 years, but I don't know a lot of the technique stuff, so that'd be really interesting if you guys have any tips or tricks. I need to do vibrato, I need to make sure I'm holding it properly. I probably need a headrest. Hello Taffy, what are you doing? You want to go out, don't you? Right, anyway, I better leave it there. Any tips or tricks, leave them in the comments please. Thanks.